Hello, my beautiful enchanted living friend. And let's just say, I am super glad that you are here in this lifetime and that we get to spend time together. But you're here for more than being a part of enchanted living. I'm sure of it. Um, there's reasons why you chose to come here now in this time, in this body, with the parents you had and the place you grew up. And deciphering that, and then living your best life is what we're all here to do. So this week, it's going to be analyzing this life, right? Maybe not going back to prior lives, but looking at this life right now. In soul coaching, we do a process called a timeline. And with that timeline, and you can make a timeline anyway, it can be very like business oriented on graph paper with little lines coming out. Or it can be fluid and flowing and maybe look like a river with branches off and comes back together. But creating a timeline is a way to look at your life, the good times, the bad times, the different directions you've taken, the different relationships you've had, the successes you've had, your perceived failures that you had, and see what that story of that timeline tells, right? Seeing if there's patterns, seeing if there's repetitions, but also noticing, I'll call it the gist of the story, right? If this was going to be a multi-book novel, like perhaps the Harry Potter series, right? Where there's different things that happen and there's different growth growth that happens for the characters and there's different challenges. If you looked at your life story way and you looked at yourself as the heroine, hero, star of the story, what would you be achieving? What would you be experiencing? Knowing that helps you maybe look at that life from above, like as the reader, right, of the story, and thinking, wow, what is our star of the story here to achieve? It's useful when you can see what it is that you wanted to achieve or why those situations happened and how they made you grow. There's stuff that happened in my life that I really wouldn't want to go back and do again, but they were a part of me learning how brave I could be, or strong I could be, or determined I could be. And there's parts of my story where I look back and I go, oh, I really crumbled and fell apart in that part. But what did I learn from that? Well, I learned how maybe my feelings can go so deep and how I could love so deeply that it would disable me in such a way, right? When we go back and look at it, we can learn about ourselves. You might also think about you're here because of the other people you surround yourself with. Could be your birth family, it could be friends, could be spouses, could be groups you joined. But perhaps in those, you are reconnecting with those people you had relationship in the past. And if there are challenges in those relationships, if they were people from your past, were those challenges that were meant to be healed or resolved in this lifetime? Were they challenges that were part of working through what happened in that lifetime? So it's another way to look at how the people in your current life might have been people from your past that perhaps it was a do-over, perhaps it was just to spend more time with your soul, and perhaps it was you were here to help them learn and grow in a certain way in this lifetime. It also could be that you feel like there's a part of you that is really driven, not just with your social relationships, but a mission, right? That you feel like your mission is saving animals, or your mission is political based action, or your mission is, I don't know, to make to make jewelry for everybody in the world. Whatever your mission, whatever you feel driven about, that could be a part of what you chose. It could be a part of what you were doing in a past lifetime that you felt you left undone. And so if your mission brings you joy, that's awesome. If your mission is a part of what's causing you angst in this lifetime, then maybe explore if this was left over from a past lifetime and it's not something you need to continue now. This week is all about improving our present lives. And as you create a life that brings you joy now, that's released and perhaps healed from ancestral past, perhaps released and healed from past soul lives that you've had before, it allows you to now move forward and be your best and brightest self. It moves you towards that step of what the Buddhists would call enlightenment. And enlightenment for them meant you didn't have to come back and do any more do-overs. You'd gotten there. You were vibrating with the same resonance as heaven, as God, as that universal life force. But it doesn't mean that you can't still come back. Those who come back are called bodhisattvas. And those bodhisattvas are here to help others achieve their enlightenment. So you can still work towards that sense of enlightenment, that sense where you are at peace with the world and at peace with yourself. And you can still choose to come back and ride the earth ride again. I can't wait to hear what you unlock for yourself in your present life. And I am so glad that you're here in this present life with me. Take care. Bye-bye.